Throughout NBA history, there have been many rivalries between teams and players that sometimes resulted in high tension and bad blood moments. One of the most memorable moments like that happened back in 1984 when Julius Erving and Larry Bird started one of the biggest fights ever. The Celtics and Sixers are known for their rivalry to this day, but in the 80s it was even more intense, as the two franchises were always battling for the top Eastern Conference. On November 9, 1984, we reached the boiling point. The Celtics hosted the Sixers at the Boston Garden in an early season matchup, with both teams still being undefeated that season. The fight escalated late in the third quarter of a tight game. Bird was torching Erving, having 42 points to Dr. J's 6 points. After an offensive foul called on Bird for throwing an elbow at Erving, things went off the rails, as Erving started throwing punches at Bird, who was being restrained by Charles Barkley. Both benches stormed the court as chaos broke out. It looked more like a scene from the WWE rather than the NBA. When all things settled down, Erving and Bird would be ejected and fined $7,500 each, as the Celtics won that game 130-119. Dick Bevetta, who was refereeing, saw Bird trash-talking Erving all game long, bragging about the good game he was having. Bevetta gave the Basketball Hall of Fame his view on the infamous fight and what he witnessed on the court between the two basketball legends.
Of course, as luck would have it, Larry Bird has an unbelievable night. Every shot he took, Erving is guarding him, and as every shot went in that Larry took, he went further back, and he kept on saying to Erving, "Aren't you going to guard me? Can't you do any better?" I mean, he was the greatest soft-spoken trash talker I've ever met. Finally, it got too much, and I look up and I see them choking each other. And a melee ensues, and so I learned from my brother Joe that if you can't stop something before it starts, you kind of step back and take license plate numbers.
Yeah.
So I just kind of stepped back and watched what was going on, and in so doing, then I informed them that Bird and Erving were gone. Boston ends up winning by 15, 18, and the response, more so from the Philadelphia people, was that Cunningham said, "I really didn't know that much about this guy Bevetta." But for anyone to have the courage to throw out two superstars, that says a lot for this man.
Robert Parrish, who was Bird's longtime teammate and in that game, echoed Bevetta's version and spoke about the big fight, surprisingly sharing he would have done the same thing in Dr. J's position.
Bird had 42 that night with 6 minutes left in the third quarter. Erving couldn't buy a bucket. Why don't people say, Julius Erving, he cost Bird maybe a 75-point night?
Well, if you'd heard what Larry was saying to him, you understand why Julius lost it.
Can you tell us, Chief?
And we all know Larry is legendary trash talking. All it was is Dr. J's ego was pride.
Right.
He had probably one of his worst basketball outings ever at the most inopportune time, and Larry constantly reminded him of it. Oh man, the trash talking. Oh my goodness, I would have threw a punch if it was me.
I wish you could give us some examples, T, but we'll probably get in trouble.
You guys would be on the air before.
In 2018, Dr. J talked to ESPN about the incident. He explained the referee had called an offensive foul against Larry Bird and that the Boston forward was fuming about the call. Erving went on to tell ESPN he was trying to hold Bird back when things got out of hand.
Celtics were ready to go. I mean, they came out ready, red hot and roaring. And so the fight, actually, there was an offensive foul called on Larry on obviously the offensive end of the court. He didn't like the call, so he was really mad at the referee. And he came down court, and he was kind of like, stomping, and he was in front of his bench. And it looked like a moment in which he was going to take a swing. And it was very uncharacteristic because, we did Converse commercials together. We did Spalding commercials together. So, we were kind of cool. I thought something was going to happen because he was definitely mad. But he was mad at the referee. He wasn't mad at me. And I just extended my arm to hold him back. And it ended up sliding up to his neck. So it was really inadvertent. I didn't really mean to grab him by the neck, but it was kind of inadvertent. I pushed him in the chest. hand slid up, got to his neck. He reaches for my neck. Next thing I know, it's a melee.
Another eyewitness to this fight was the young Charles Barkley. While Chuck didn't throw any punches, he still received a fine for joining the fray. He paid the bill, but after all these years, it seems he still holds a grudge against the NBA.
To this day, I won't ever forgive the NBA for fining me, because they fined me because they said I was holding Larry Bird so Dr. J could hit him.
Right.
I was trying to break the fight up.
But it looks like you got Bird and you're holding him.
I'm trying to. I thought somebody had Doc. I didn't know Doc was punching Bird when I was holding him.
Curiously, Bird, who is known to be a savage trash talker, did not consider what he said to Dr. J a trash talk. In his autobiography, Bird claimed he never talked junk to Irving, only because he had too much respect for the Sixers legend. Tell us in the comments, what is your favorite NBA fight? If you enjoy this video, hit the like button, share, and subscribe. For more basketball content, subscribe to our other channels, Free Dawkins and Vintage Dawkins, and follow us on social media.